Good morning, grade 7s. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend and are ready for a new week of e-learning. In today's lesson, we will be going through topic 9, area and perimeter of 2D shapes, and this is lesson 11, part 1. If you want to follow in your textbook, you can find this section on page 112. So today we're going to focus on perimeter of polygons. Now, perimeter is the total distance around the outside of a polygon. In other words, it is the length of the border of a 2D shape. So basically what this means is when I give you a 2D shape, it can be a triangle, a square, a rectangle, a pentagon, an octagon. The perimeter, when I ask you to work it out, basically all you need to do is you need to add the lengths of all the sides of the shape. We don't include anything inside the shape, it's just the border around it. So it says we work out the perimeter of a shape by adding all the sides together. We measure perimeter in millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers. So because it's length, we just measure it as if we were measuring the length of a line. So it says we get two types of 2D shapes. We get regular shapes. This is when all the sides and the angles are equal or they're in proportion. And then we get irregular shapes. This is where the lengths of the sides or the angles are not equal or not in proportion. Now, when I say in proportion, all I mean is, for example, all the angles are the same angle. So they're all 90-degree angles, or they're all 45-degree angles, or whatever the shape is that we're working with. Okay, so it says when we draw 2D shapes with little lines on the sides, it means that these sides of the shape are equal in length. So if we have a look at this rectangle, you can see on this side there's one line and one line. That means that that side of the rectangle and this side of the rectangle are equal in length. Then you'll see here I've got those double lines and there I've got double lines. Again, it means those two sides are equal in length. So all that those little lines are showing you is which corresponding sides are equal in length. So if there's sides that have two lines, we know that those lines are equal. If there's lines that have one line, we know that those are equal. Okay, now before we get into the sums, let's just quickly do a bit of revision from grade 5 and 6 work. Remember, in 1 centimeter, we have 10 millimeters. In 1 meter, we have 100 centimeters. In 1 kilometer, we have 1,000 meters. So we're going to use that to convert between our units here. So whenever you're going from a smaller unit to a greater unit, remember we are dividing, and we get these numbers 10, 100, and 1,000 by those digits in the table. When we're going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, the number will increase, so we are multiplying. Okay. So if we have a look at the bottom, it says, take note that the perimeter of a square can be worked out by saying, now this is the formula of a perimeter of a square, so I'm going to highlight it. Very important. Okay, the perimeter of a square we work out by saying 4 times the length of one side. Because we know a square, all the sides are equal in length. So for example, if one side is 2 centimeters, then we know to get the perimeter, we're going to say 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. And another way of saying that is just 2 times 4. Right, then take note that the perimeter of a rectangle, now remember rectangle, we've got 2 pairs of equal sides. So the perimeter, the formula, we've got over here, it's perimeter equals 2 times the length, because there's 2 lengths that are the same, plus 2 times the widths, and those are the same. All right, and then the last thing, it says take note that the perimeter of an equilateral triangle, now please take note that's a triangle with 3 equal sides, can be worked out by saying, and here's the formula, the perimeter of an equilateral triangle, this works the same with any triangle, we just add the sides together. So we're going to say length of side 1 plus length of side 2 plus length of side 3, and that will give us our total perimeter. Now in a test or an exam, if you don't remember these formulas, it's not an issue. All you need to remember is perimeter, we add all the lengths together. So instead of writing the formula, you could have just said one side plus one side plus one side plus one side. It will give you the same answer. So let's have a look at this example. So example 1 says calculate the perimeter of the below shapes in centimeters. The drawing is not drawn to scale. So when it says that, it basically means if you had to go measure that side, it would definitely not be 1,000 centimeters. So they've given you the measurements, all right? Now this is an irregular shape. All we need to do is add the sides of or add the lengths of all the sides. So we've got 1,000 centimeters, 450 centimeters, 3 meters, 15 meters, and 80 centimeters. Please take note, they are not all in the same unit. So before we add them together, you need to make them all the same. So you can either convert all of them to meters or you can convert all of them to centimeters. Now you can see there's two sides. We've got the 3 and the 15 meters. Those are the odd sides. So I've converted them to centimeters. Now to go from meters to centimeters, if you had a look over there, meters to centimeters, we multiply by 100. So I said 3 times 100 is 300 centimeters. 15 times 100 is 1,500 centimeters. Now everything's in the same unit. I add them all up and my final perimeter is 3,300 centimeters. Please don't forget your units. Right, then example 2. The perimeter of an equilateral triangle is 600 centimeters. What is the length of each side? So if I just draw a rough drawing of an equilateral triangle, it means that all 3 sides are the same length. Okay, so that's an equilateral triangle. They're telling you the total of the sides is 600 centimeters. Now we need to work out which each side is, what the length of each side is. Now equilateral triangle we know has 3 equal sides, so they must be the same. So if we divide our perimeter by 3, we will get what the length of each side is. So I said there, all sides are the same length and there are 3 equal sides. So 600 centimeters divided by 3 is equal to 200 centimeters. Therefore, each side is 200 centimeters. So if you calculated it back again, we've got 200 plus 200 is 400, plus the last side 200 is 600. So it definitely adds up. So please go practice these perimeter questions that I've given you in your textbook. And in the next lesson, we will do area of 2D shapes.